We are back for episode number 55 of the Social Genius podcast, brought to you by Drunk on Social. And this week, we've got a unique guest. We're going to start bringing on some guests who are practitioners that are in the trenches, that are working their asses off, that have taken our advice. They're good friends, usually, of the platform, and they are doing the things that we teach. And we want them to share with you, because you know what? You always hear from us and, myself and Tristan. So it's good to hear from other real people, because Tristan isn't real. He's a robot. And I'm just his butler. So
what, dude? I'm a robot. You're my butler. I love that. That's nuts. That is a nut. I love that.
I need a raise too, by the way.
Oh shit. Okay.
So let's welcome to the show, Tristan, Daniel Sala, which we were just talking offline. And so Daniel is in the mortgage business. Don't leave yet. That doesn't make him a bad person. And he just recently went through a change in company, which all real estate agents are very familiar with, because everybody does it like every couple of years. And so, Daniel, we've been watching you kind of evolve and progress over the last year or so. But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what your social media game kind of looks like today? And we'll ask you questions along the way.
Definitely. Yeah. So, I mean, same story, been in the business for, I think February was 19 years. So started when I was like about 22, about to turn 42, done pretty much everything from subprime to new construction, worked for big banks, in-house lenders for big new construction companies. And then, just recently, local net branches, and now I'm back with Loan Depot. So, that's basically a real quick background. And then with social media, it's kind of one of those things where, to be honest, it was I started getting into it with Clubhouse, to be honest. I kind of did a social media boot camp. And then that kind of led to another 90-day challenge that it was kind of like, let's see how much, let's see if consistent posting and basically just having a regular schedule, how will that affect business, number one? And also, will that build out my audience, and then also increase engagement with a lot of the posts. And surprisingly enough, when you're consistent on posting and, it's stuff people want to hear, you'll grow that audience pretty quickly. And it took me about a good 6 months of just every day posting, every week posting as much as I could, 4 or 5 videos a week, every day posting some stories onto Instagram. And, that was when I actually started getting calls from agents saying, hey, I see your stuff all over the place. I have my cousin that wants to, buy a house, or, hey, is it cool if I send you a couple of leads? And I mean, that's always a good thing, right? And getting business without actually having to go out into the offices. And then I actually started getting people that would always watch my stuff asking me questions in the DMs. And then, that led to, 1 to 2 deals here. And then, now it's a lot of the communication I get is in the DMs, in Instagram. And
do you purposefully ask for people to DM you, or do they just reach out?
No, I think it's just, it's one of those things where, I usually try to end, videos or lives or whatever I do with, I'm always here to help, just reach out. And I think I feel like DMs for a lot of people is like a non-commitment, right? It's like, hey, I can shoot it out there, and if you read it, you read it. If not, no harm, no foul type of thing. I feel like it's a real informal way to communicate. It's almost kind of like, liking and commenting on someone's post, but kind of private. So they don't, not everyone sees it. Cause there are some people that have reached out to me and they're like, I had one guy that was just like, you would never think, on his social that he had, credit issues, but yeah, he was like, hey, this is where my score's at. What can I do? And
Daniel,
yeah.
I thought that was a private conversation, buddy.
My bad. Yeah, I wasn't gonna name names.
I'm joking.
I wasn't gonna name names.
Oh shit! Well, now you told everybody that I reached out to you. Come on.
Right? but yeah, no. I mean, it's one of those things where it took a while, and I feel like a lot of people are like, oh well, if I don't that day get 15 calls or 15 requests to do something, that it was a waste of a day, filming video or editing or doing whatever. And it's not, it's like any other lead that we have right now. Any cold lead takes 6 to 9 months. And I feel like that's kind of the spot that it took me. It took me about 6 to 9 months to start seeing an improvement in business.
So let me ask you this. You said you started with Clubhouse. So that puts us at a year ago, 2 months.
Yep.
Essentially, because Tristan and I went all in at the end of, what was it, Tristan, 2020? Or was it 2019?
Clubhouse?
Yeah.
End of 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. End of 2020.
It was right before Christmas, right in between Christmas and New Year's.
So funny thing, it was on one of the Lab Coat Agents lives that I heard about Clubhouse. And I was like, I got to get in. I think Tristan, you were talking about it, and I was like, I got to get into this Clubhouse. I want to see what it's all about. And luckily, I had a friend that had been in Clubhouse, and I texted him. I was like, dude, you gotta get me in. And so he sent me an invite, and that's how I got in.
That's when invites were gold. They were like that for a while, and then all of a sudden they became. Okay, so.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, funny enough, there were 3 top producing agents in Bakersfield that I had my invites, right? And I sent it to them, and I'm like, try this out. You'll be amazed. To this day, none of those 3 accepted that invite and got on Clubhouse. And I'm like, I feel like they kind of missed the early benefits of it. I mean, now it's kind of evolved a little bit, and I'm not on it as much, to be honest, but though I would say January to about April, there was some really good stuff that was happening in Clubhouse. I was pretty impressed.
It got diluted fast. So, okay. The reason I asked that, because you've been doing this for a short amount of time, which is validating. Where did you go first? Or where did you go and where are you now in terms of the social platforms?
So, early on, I kind of wanted to be on Instagram. I just felt that was kind of, I don't know, for some reason, I just gravitated more to Instagram. Facebook's always been cool, but I felt like Facebook was super saturated in our market. And so I felt like Instagram was pretty wide open. And then, by default, I just kind of transitioned, from Instagram. At the time, TikTok was kind of like, I don't know. I don't dance, I'm not very good at lip syncing. And then, over time, as I got comfortable on Instagram, I just kind of, made the transition over to TikTok. And, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of business to be had on TikTok as well. It's not just, dancing and lip syncing nowadays. I mean, there's some good information. Get a lot of golf tips there. There's some good channels. So, and
there's some great channels, dude.
Yeah.
So how have you shifted your social media to be able to gain more business from it over the last few months or over the last year?
Yeah, I think, I'll be honest. A lot of it was, when I first started out, I had no idea like what content to post, what I wanted to do. And then, a lot of it was, to be honest, it was social coach. Like, you guys had some great topics in there that I might not have used the actual post, but the content that was there gave me
inspiration
ideas to build something else.
Well, exactly. Don't tell everybody about it. Shit, we only want to keep it to 5 people, dude. Come on.
Well, there you go. Right. And one of the things I actually started doing was I would take the captions and throw them into like a teleprompter app on the phone. And I would basically just read it off the teleprompter and record the videos that way.
Which teleprompter app are you using?
Give me a sec here. Let me see.
I use Prompt Smart Pro. I think Tristan does as well. That's our favorite.
Yeah.
I was using which one were you using?
Teleprompter.
That's what it's called?
Yeah.
It's a good name. Shit, it wasn't taken, Jeff. You see, we fucked that up completely.
Yeah.
So Big View is another popular one, but
yeah.
I like Big View. I still like Big View. It's simple.
Yeah. I Prompt Smart's the best in my opinion. But
I'll have to try that one.
I agree.
Yeah, but
cool.
I basically would take the caption from Social Coach, right? And I would just copy it. I would either add it to a note and then copy it from there and put it in the app, or I would just put it straight in. I would create a new script, put it in the app, and just read it. And 90% of the time, people can't tell that I'm reading the script.
Never.
And so it's just, that using that as a prompt and using that as inspiration is kind of what started getting me dialed in. And then, it was kind of like, okay, well, this teleprompter thing started to work. What if I started taking, just random realtor.com articles and putting them in scripts? And so like right now, Drunk on Social has been a big thing too, because I've actually gotten a couple of agents to participate in the challenges. The monthly challenges are awesome. And that's kind of
dropping all these names, bro. Come on, like Social Coach, Drunk on Social. It's like we're trying to keep it super secret, bro. Come on.
It's good stuff. If you use it, it's amazing. To be honest, I've actually leveraged the Drunk on Social monthly challenges to create more relationships with these agents. It's more of a competition. So every day
it works.
Yeah. I'm communicating with 2 to 3 agents like, hey, day 14, check mark. Where you at? How's it going? Do you need help? Just basically using it as kind of like a sly marketing tool, It's the same thing with, what was it right now? I'm currently doing 75 hard, and I started it with an agent that I've never worked with before. And since
75 hard, like actual working out.
You never heard of 75 hard?
No, I have. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I thought it was something new because we're talking about social media.
Oh yeah.
I think Jeff and I should start 75 soft and just be all
there is such a thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well then what can we come up with, Dan, that has to do with social media, and we'll throw in the word 75 on there.
Instead of 2 workouts, you can do 2 videos, 10 stories. How
about 75 medium, like right in the middle?
75 social.
75 social medium.
Right?
Jeff, this is good. Let's think along those lines.
Maybe I can get Andy Frisella to be the spokesperson for it.
There you go. Yeah, but the 75 hard has helped out. It's been a pain in the butt, but it's helped me. Like, I've realized I have a lot more time than I thought. And so between the 75 hard and then the Drunk on Social March challenge, which is TikTok a day, I'm like scrambling by like 8 o'clock. I'm like, okay, I gotta get the last video in because, I cannot fall behind, because then it's 2 days. And then,
I love how you said that, because I say that all the time to people. It's like, if I create a challenge for myself, it's my own personal accountability. And if I do it, I follow through. And I think people avoid that shit because they don't want to look in the mirror and realize that they failed themselves. But if you really want to succeed and do exactly what people like Daniel are doing, which what he's done, it took me a lot longer to do, because when I started doing it, nobody was doing it. So we were unicorns at the time. Now, like, success is happening faster for those who put in the work. And you're a great example of it, but so I want to ask you a couple of questions, because I want this to be tactical for people. So number one, what I heard from him is he found the sources to create the inspiration, right? It started with lab coats, then it went to Clubhouse. Then he probably found us that way. He went to Drunk on Social, which the whole design is inspiration. He's using an app like Social Coach, which, by the way, is an app that provides done for you content. And that kind of stuff exists. But what I love about what you did, Daniel, was you do exactly what I've always told people. It's like people are like, how do you find creativity? I'm like, I subscribe to blogs, industry blogs. I subscribe to email lists. I subscribe to shit, and then I just peruse it. I'll just quickly glance through it. And if something catches my eye, I'll take written stuff, turn it into a script, throw it in a teleprompter. Bam, I've got content that you don't have. But I'm not like reinventing the wheel here, right? It's just takes a different mindset. And I love to hear that somebody else is doing that, because that's all it takes. So when you say you have like did you have a goal? Like, what is your goal every day? You're getting into our challenges, but what are your personal goals? So that's part of it. But what is your cadence? What is something that has to happen every single day on Instagram, for example?
So, I mean, to be honest, right now it's kind of big and soon between the challenges and the 75 hard, doing that part. But I mean, honestly, it's before it was, if I can get 3 to 4 videos a week, reels, and then just stories, never having that little pink ring around my profile pic. As long as that's always pink and it's not blank, there's always a story in there. And I know that's kind of my benchmark. It's like that thing always has to be colored. I don't ever want it to be blank, because that means, I'm not engaged. Yeah, pretty much. And there's days where I'll post 10 to 12 stories, a day. And then there'll be days where it's like, 2 to 3, but there's always something in there. And then, what I've realized is if you look on my Instagram page, it's mostly videos now. I don't really do photos. Yeah. The photos are cool, but I mean, I feel like now people are going to Instagram to watch videos about stuff. It's just like TikTok.
What is your content strategy? Because if I'm looking from the outside looking in, it looks to me like it is primarily mortgage tips.
Yeah, so in doing this for 19, 20 years now, I've pretty much stepped on every grenade you can possibly step on. And so it's like, let me make your life easier. Let me make the mortgage. I don't want the mortgage process to be something that people dread anymore. When you talk to a lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of their experiences, like, I didn't have a good experience. It was great up until the end, and then everything fell apart. Or, I wish my loan officer would have told me that I could do this instead of that, and it would have made my life a lot easier. And so what I'm trying to do is, number one, trying to educate you on different terms, because the hardest thing for loan officers is to take ourselves out of the whole, I need a VOE, I need an LOE, a verification of more, assets, all these different terms that if you're not in real estate, or if you're not in mortgage, you have no idea what that means. It's like if an attorney was talking to you about legal terms, or a doctor was talking to you about certain procedures. You have no idea, because you don't use that every day. And so I'm just trying to tell people, look, this is what a deed of trust means. This is what a balloon payment is. Trying to kind of get rid of a lot of, perfect example, adjustable rate mortgage. Anytime you say ARM, people automatically think it's a negative thing. But it really isn't, except for when it was set up in the late, in the 2008s, 2007, 2008s. It was bad.
That sounds like a new hook for your new video today.
Right? Yeah, we did an adjustable rate mortgage one, and explained that, look, like, here it is. It's not that bad. It's just in 2008, a lot of loan officers were making a bunch of money increasing those margins. So that's where you saw, a 3 to 4 point swing from their intro rate to their adjustable rate, was that huge margin. And so, that was never explained to anyone. So people think, hey, there's people out there that went from, a 3% all the way up to, an 8%. And no one explained that there's a thing called a margin plus your prime rate, and that's what made up your adjusted rate. And so when you explain that to people, and you say, if you keep an eye on what your margin is, you have certain caps in there where you can't jump like that. And I think, you know, it was misused and it was taken advantage of, you know, back in the day. And I think just educating people, that's going to help, you know, have people make smart choices.
Yeah. I love that. Now, I will say this, it goes against what I preach, but at the same token, in fact, you're a part of our, so we have a new social coaching platform where we're doing 2 calls a month. You're going to be a part of it. You missed today's call, but I think you haven't signed up yet, or you're getting signed up.
Get your ass in there, Dan.
Well, it was good. So we actually talked about this, and so, you know, and it was interesting because the people the people that are in the platform now, it kind of ranged in terms of their level of, you know, interaction with social media, and some very basic to some pretty advanced. And one of the things we talked about was that the initial reaction by or strategy by a lot of professionals is to go into social and go all business, all in. And not that I say that's wrong, because it's clearly not wrong. It's just going to be a harder hill to climb. Now, you've climbed it, you're climbing it. But the one thing, because the reality is there's multiple millions of us, right, and across this country in the industry. And so if everybody's trying to execute the same strategy, it's going to become insanely diluted. It already is. But the one thing that you can't compete with on social media is authenticity. Like, I can't be Daniel as a father. I can't be Daniel as whatever your hobbies are. I can't be Daniel as a husband, as a pet owner, as a traveler. And that's one place that you can create pockets of raving fans and friends while you're sprinkling in the business. Now, you're going against that grain, which again isn't wrong because you're having success with it. But what do you have to say for that? So somebody who's doing it, somebody who, you know me, right? And you know what I preach and you know what I talk about. What are your comments about going all in, just talking about business versus going in and having kind of like being a reality TV show, essentially?
Yeah. I mean, you whatever fits, you know, like you said, whatever you feel most authentic with is what you should go with and what you're comfortable with. I kind of have a weird sense of humor, so you might see some weird stuff in those videos and some of those TikToks. You know, we do funny stuff. I don't mind that. It's just lately I've been more comfortable with hey, let's get you educated, you know, because I've heard people saying, well, what about this? What about that? What does this mean? And so I felt like there is a need for some kind of mortgage education in there. But at the same time, there's also other videos in my content that are, you know, just, you know, trending sounds, but with a mortgage twist on them. You know, I don't think any way is wrong unless, you know, as long as you're doing it consistently and as long as it's something that feels comfortable to you. That's the biggest thing. Because if you're uncomfortable, you're not going to want to do it. You know, and I see that a lot with, you know, I see that where people try to be funny and they don't have that personality and it just comes off forced and you can tell they're uncomfortable and it comes across in the video and you're just like, it's cringeworthy to see it. And you're just like
watching Jeff's videos again, haven't you?
You know, yeah, I didn't want to say anything, but those TikTok dances, you know, you got to practice them a little bit more.
I know you're not talking about my TikTok.
I was just picking on Jeff.
I'm just waiting for him to do the fancy like Applebee's.
Oh, dude, I need to get that dance down. Whatever the hell he does.
Yeah.
That I mean, I tell you what, if I was an artist, I would follow his lead and I would get a dance for every one of my songs. I mean, he's become mega famous as a result, man.
Dude, it's so true, man.
I think he blew up because of his TikTok dances, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Walker Hayes. Yeah, that guy's insane.
Yeah.
Now I literally look for his account just to see if there's new TikTok dances to his songs. I mean, they're kind of catchy. I like them.
So true, buddy.
No, yeah, exactly. The guys, and I tell you what, there's a lot of people that have done just that with TikTok. It's pretty awesome, really.
Yeah, no, and that's the crazy part is that it is blowing up a lot of new artists. And I mean, why can't we do that for real estate and lending as well? You know? Yeah, and you're right, and it is happening, and you're a perfect example of somebody that it's happening to, and that's the beauty of it. So let me ask you this, so we can wrap up here. Unless Tristan has some questions, I've kind of stolen the show here. What advice would you give to someone who's just been sitting on the fence saying, just like you pre-Clubhouse, they're sitting on the fence, like,
Yeah, I'll post here and there, and then I vacate it. I can't think of anything to post. I don't think it'll actually work. What advice would you give to somebody who asked you that?
It's the same advice that I hear all the time. And it's, if you hear the same question more than twice in a week, that's your topic. If someone asks you, hey, well, what are rates doing? That's a video idea. I mean, there's ideas all over the place. It's just a matter of switching up the thinking and then actually just doing it. Get in there and do it. I mean, I think the easiest way to start is on stories. They're gone in 24 hours. So if you look like an absolute idiot on there, no one cares because it's going to be gone in a day. Start that way.
Thank God for me. Sometimes I screw that one up.
That's how I started. I mean,
the thing is, though, you don't look like an idiot. And I'm talking to you. Don't look like an idiot. I mean, you are being, if I look like an idiot intentionally, because I know my audience loves that shit, right? I mean, that's the funny thing. I think people are so afraid of it. But the reality is, how do you act at home? However you act at home is how you should act on. Don't be fake. Be real.
Good point. Dude, that's why I loved your when you posted up 2 days ago, you were feeding the deer so that you guys can see that. I'm assuming so winter could be like, oh, there's deer, right? And not shoot them.
I just enjoy it myself. That's why I have bird feeders right outside my window. I mean, I like nature. I mean,
see, I love that, bro. I didn't know that, because then the same day I had saved in my draft that I bumped into like a herd of deer. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is so cool.
Yeah.
That's why it was cool. Anyway.
Yeah, up in Bakersfield, we would have gone hunting.
That's why I don't visit Bakersfield.
Dude, I'm in Missouri. I'm in the Midwest. That's what they do here. They drive around with gun racks on their cars. I'm not a hunter, but yeah, I just enjoy them for the scenery, man. I think it's cool.
That's cool. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, we have a golf course out here that we go on, and I mean, it's riddled with Canadian geese. It's kind of cool to see them.
Cool.
You try not to hit them because they're just chilling, and it's really cool. We have a 3-legged coyote at the driving range too, which is kind of
like
crazy.
A real one or a fake one?
No, he literally is missing like the top part of his paw. And so he just cruises around 3:00 in the afternoon. He'll go and he looks for golfers, and everyone kind of stops hitting balls and they just watch him, and then he takes off.
That's hilarious. If you played consistent golf there, you could literally build content just around that. Yeah,
you could. See, that's the thing. I haven't really started the golf content thing because it's kind of unbearable to watch right now. Me and my buddy.
But think about how many people can relate to that.
That's true. Yep.
That's the thing. And that's the whole thing is relatability. It's like imperfection is actually winning on social because it's relatable,
I did a rap video with mortgage lyrics to regulate.
Nice.
Nate Dogg. Dude, that's an old school song.
Nate Dogg. Yeah.
We wore Adidas tracksuits, me and another agent. So, it didn't get a whole lot of views, but it was fun. And we still get people that talk to it. They're like, we can't believe you guys did that. And it's like, well, they'll do anything for a nowadays.
It's the name of the game, man. I love it. Daniel, we appreciate you, man. Looking forward to seeing you, hopefully in perpetuity on these social calls and just continuing to evolve and ramp up the game, man. We love watching it. Hopefully we can support it and help it. And hopefully you're an inspiration today to people listening. I know I'm going to share this with my LOs because I want to light some fires under some asses. So thank you for sharing, man.
It works. All right. Appreciate it, guys.